Hello, Deputy Terry back with you. We're still waiting for some parts to come in from Lee Precision. A couple of screws, they sent the wrong length one. They've been very helpful, but we're still waiting for those to come in. So in the meantime, today I thought I'd tell you a story and a little bit of history about the 357 Magnum. This is a model 66. There's one that's called a model 686 that's very similar to this, but the one I'm familiar with a 4-inch barrel, this lug underneath here that holds the ejector rod, well, which ejects the brass. That bar that you see here continues all the way to the end of the barrel, which was designed to reduce the muzzle flip of the 357, which is a ferocious round. In fact, if you fire this at night with a full load, the muzzle flash is almost a meter, and by half a meter vertical. I mean, it's a beast. But getting back, this came after the 38 and the 38 Special, which goes back into the 30s and 40s and was a favorite police round, and over time developed into the 38 plus P plus, and then the 357 Magnum. Now, this was used, the 686, the one that's almost exactly like this, was used in an infamous gunfight in April of 1986 in Miami. There was a couple of guys that had met in the military police school and served together, honorably discharged. Never any problems, no criminal record on either one, by the name of Maddox and Platt. They were suspected in the deaths of both of their wives that died in mysterious circumstances. One wife died, she was working late at night in a hospital in a deserted area, and she and a co-worker were abducted, tied up in the lab, and they were stabbed to death. And then the other guy's wife, that was Maddox's wife, I believe, and then Platt, his wife, ended up committing suicide with a 12 gauge. The police ruled it a suicide because they didn't have any other evidence. Well, these guys started going around in Miami to the different ranges, to the different, they go to a quarry, or they go to different areas outlying, and they would just practice with their weapons, which was Mini 14 shotguns, revolvers, and they had a 9mm as well. They decided to start robbing armored cars, and so they did, and they got away, never more than 50,000 at a time, but they enjoyed what they were doing. They decided to start robbing banks, and they did rob a few, and the FBI saw a pattern that in a certain area these guys more than likely would hit in the near future, so they put teams of FBI agents out around to look for these guys. Now, when they were going to the quarries and practicing, they came across a young man that was there by himself, and he was practicing his skills. They killed him and took his car and used it for some of the armored car heists. And they abandoned it, but they needed another car, so they went to a different range and found another young man practicing by himself, and they killed him and took his car as well. Pardon me. The Bureau got wind of their descriptions, of course, and a description of the car that they might be driving. And lo and behold, one day in April of 1986, a team of FBI agents saw the car, started following it. They radioed for help, and another car formed up with them, and they eventually forced the bad guy car into a tree. It hit a tree, and the passenger door was blocked by a parked car that was just some private citizen's car. The FBI blocked the other driver's side door so neither one could get out. The two guys in the car knew that they were about to be arrested and opened fire. Now, one of the perpetrators opened up with a Mini 14. Now, the other one opened up with a shotgun. You have to realize that 145 rounds were fired in less than 5 minutes, and that was the end of it. And it went down like this. Now, I'm going to hit the high points, but this is all over the internet for guys that don't remember or basically never knew about this. They started firing through the windows of the car. The bad guys couldn't get out, so they started firing at the FBI agents through the windows of the car and through the windshield and through both passenger sides. And eventually were able to get out through the windshield and took a couple of agents by surprise. The guy with the Mini 14 killed 2 agents on the spot, Grogan and Dove. Special Agent Grogan and Special Agent Dove were caught by surprise and were shot. One through ballistic vest and the other one hit through the head. All the firing was going. Unfortunately, the Mini 14, the bad guys dominated the fight. The guys, only 2 FBI agents had semi-automatic. They had I don't know what they had, early model Smith & Wesson 9mm. But basically the bad guys dominated the firefight, killed the 2 agents, and there was a wounded agent. His name was Special Agent Morales, and he was wounded through the shoulder, and he couldn't use his right arm at all. And he had an 870 shotgun, and he held it between his knees and then would rack around, and he was able to shoot under the cars and got these guys because they weren't fully in the agent's car that they were trying to, now had migrated to and were trying to start to make a getaway. He nailed both of them in the feet, and so they pulled their feet up in the car, and he manipulated the shotgun 3 more times and fired over the top, but didn't hit them because he was badly wounded and only had the use of his left arm. Agent Morales, at that point in time, put the shotgun down, took his 6.86 from his holster, got up, walked around to the windshield, fired through the windshield, and took out one of the bad guys, killed him outright from, 7 feet away, walked around to the passenger side and point blank shot the other guy, killed him dead, and that was the end of the firefight. Now, other agents were coming in, but they were too far away to get there within 5 minutes, and they had M16s and they had H&K MP5s. But to no avail. That was the end of the firefight. But it started, the FBI realized that they had been outgunned, and they started moving away from the revolver and developing a semi-automatic handgun that they could give to their special agents. And initially they developed a 10mm, but migrated to a 40 Smith & Wesson. Now, I don't know what they carry today, but that's one of the original semi-automatics that they moved to, was the 40 Smith & Wesson. It started a whole new trend also in tactical training, because before predominantly it was the FBI stance and, shoot a paper target. But this started a whole new trend in tactical training about how to manipulate a weapon with one hand, how to activate the slide on a semi-automatic, but with the sights on your jeans, and tactical training that had never really had been done before that. But I guess that's it for today. I can't think of anything more to say about that. Like I said, it's on the internet if you're interested in that sort of thing. And until the parts come in, I'll try to do something else tomorrow to keep you guys entertained, guys and gals. So until then, Thurkestrakamanomimer, we'll see you next time.